today, and I wanted to let everybody know that you are in for such a treat today in every office hours with Paul. I've had the privilege recently just to go through some of his videos and release them out to YouTube, and it is such a gift that we have this experience, this wisdom, the depth of knowledge that he brings. So I'm excited for today, Paul, and thank you for being here, and thank you for being so generous with your knowledge. So I'll pass it off to you.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Marcel, I really do appreciate that. Thanks for your kind introduction. And I welcome everybody to our office hours presentations. It is a relaxed, informal mentoring program that we do every Monday at noon Pacific time. This recording is available online for a few days, and then all recordings are archived in our members area. And we are opening up our videos a little bit at a time to where they're available online in our YouTube channel. So I want to invite all of you to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, because we not only have the office hours presentations, but there's a few other presentations and videos there as well. The reasons we do this is because I know that being a successful small business owner can be a great experience, but I also know that it's tough. You need the education, training, tools, and team to be successful, and I really want you to get to know me, because when you do, you'll know that I really care and I want you to succeed. And really, in my life, first and most importantly, I really do care about the people that I meet. I want you to succeed in every area of your life, whatever that success means to you. I want you to find the greatness, the happiness, the divinity that each one of us has within us, and I want you to remember it, embrace it, and live it every single day. My vision is to help millions of CEOs and entrepreneurs accelerate their business growth and enjoy greater harmony and balance in their lives. If you resonate with that, then please share the messages that we have on your Facebook wall, on LinkedIn, and wherever, and help me out with that mission. I know with my over 50 years of business experience and also my passion for personal and spiritual growth, that I've got a lot to offer people, and I can really support them, and I really enjoy the opportunity to do that. Our agenda for today and every office hours is to have an in-depth discussion of a business success principle. Then I offer some closing remarks and some special offers and an invitation for next week's session. And then we go into open questions and answers. First, open questions and answers and discussion on the topic of the day, and then we open it up to anything that you want to talk about. I invite you to join me on my Brilliant Business Group page within Facebook. And this is the page when you get there. If you just type in Brilliant Business into the window there, you'll come to our Brilliant Business page, where we post a business lesson of the day and invitations for other things as well. You can go to facebook.com/groups/Brilliant Business, and that's where you can make comments, ask questions, share your insights and your takeaways from our presentations. And I also encourage you, if you haven't done so already, to like my business page on Facebook. Today's topic is called Rescue Magic, Handling Tough Customer Issues. A lot of content in this presentation is borrowed from a book called Customer Service for Dummies. And here's the book right here. I actually got this book in 1999 when, as a part of one of my jobs, I needed to go around the country and train a lot of customer service personnel. Just a few months ago, it was my pleasure to meet Karen Leland in the CEO Space community meeting, who was the author of that book, and I told her how much I really appreciated the book, because it's really not a book for dummies. It's a book for smart folks like you and me too. And most everything I learned about customer service, I learned from that book. So I'll encourage you to get that book for yourself. I'll do it again at the end of the presentation too. And I, of course, have added some other tidbits along the line when it comes to customer service, and specifically the topic of today, which is rescuing customer relationships. I always relate the conversation of the day back to one or more of the key performance areas that I defined in my book in 2004 called The Foundation Factor. And customer service is really all about service and delivery. I make the point whenever I talk about sales that CEOs can never completely abdicate the responsibility they have to be great salespeople. You just can't hand it off, because your most important customers, your industry analysts, your investors will all want to talk to you, and you need to be fluent in the language of sales and very proficient in the skill set of sales in order to be successful in business. Well, the same is true about customer delivery and customer service. You have to be an expert at customer service because a lot of those most challenging customer service situations are going to get escalated right up to you, the owner, the CEO of the business. And of course, that's especially true with very small businesses. If you've got less than 5 or 10 people on your team, you may get an opportunity to handle each and every customer service challenge that comes up. So it really behooves you to be excellent in customer service, and I know the presentation for today is going to help you do exactly that. Today we're going to talk about the fundamentals of great customer service. We're going to introduce a stoplight process and talk about the importance of your attitude when it comes to providing great customer service. We're going to give you a process by which you can learn to handle red light moments successfully. I'm going to share some examples of good and bad customer service and sum it all up to the bottom line. Let's get started with the fundamentals of customer service. The fundamental principle here is that the relationships that you have with your clients and your customers are really, really precious to you. Your reputation is precious because 71% of customers go elsewhere because of poor customer service. So if you want to keep your customers and keep your clients and keep your good reputation, it's really, really important that you focus on good customer service because it costs a lot to acquire a customer and because one aw shucks can outweigh 100 attaboys, especially in this era of social media. You know, in times past, before the internet, before the proliferation of computers and laptops and mobile devices, you could have a bad customer experience and maybe that person would only tell 5 or 10 people. But now that person has the opportunity to jump online and tell hundreds or thousands of people with a Yelp review, with some disparaging comment on Facebook, with some disparaging comment on Twitter or LinkedIn. So it's really, really important that you manage customer relationships extremely well because every single one of your customers, every one of your clients has a very loud voice and they can broadcast their great experience or their not so great experience to literally thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. So it's even more important today to have excellent customer service than it ever has been in the past. When a customer is upset, I really want you to see that as an opportunity that you have to own up for it, own up to the issue, and accept responsibility as appropriate for the challenge that the customer is having, to be in integrity with yourself and with your customer, and to make it right. And when you make it right, whenever you solve the problem, whenever you address the issue, whenever you treat that customer right, you have the opportunity to really build a stronger relationship with your client and with your customer. So one of the things I want to get across today is that whenever you have a nasty problem or an issue that comes up with a client, see that immediately as an opportunity to step up and make it right, to be in integrity, and to build a stronger relationship with that customer. Because when you do it right, that customer is going to know that you're a person that they can count on even more so than they did before. Whenever you have an important issue with a customer or a trying issue with a customer, your mindset is incredibly important. It's really quite everything because everything that you say, your body language, the tone of voice, the words that come out of your mouth are dependent upon your attitude and are dependent upon your mindset. In person, they say that 93% of communication is nonverbal communication. I think 55% of that is on body language, 7% of that is the words that you say, and 38% of that is on the tone of your voice. And over the phone, the tone of your voice is so important that 86% of everything that's communicated between you and your client is based on the tone of your voice. They will really understand how you really feel and what you really think based upon the tone of your voice, even more so than what you say. So it's quite different if you say, ma'am, I'm really sorry about the problem you're having today. Or if you say, ma'am, yeah, I'm sorry about the problem you're having today. I mean, the tone of your voice means everything when you're communicating with your clients. Whenever you manage challenging customer conversations, then just remember that your attitudes are contagious. And if you want your clients to be respectful, if you want your clients to be patient, if you want your clients and customers to have a little less stress and anxiety in their life, then you need to model that behavior for them, because your attitude, your calmness, your sincerity, your respect, your self-respect, all of that will communicate to your client. So remember to smile when you're on the phone, to communicate friendliness and respect for them. Remember to listen patiently when you're on the phone, to communicate strength and concern for what they have to say and what they're experiencing. Remembering to use a soothing but concerned tone of voice to communicate strength and kindness with them, because you'll find that the attitudes that you communicate through your voice, through the words that you say and the way that you say them, are very contagious. You can't expect somebody to calm down if you yourself are in a state of high anxiety. So be extremely courteous at all times to communicate concern and strength and respect for them and for your company, and always speak well of your teammates and your colleagues to communicate confidence. You don't want to start saying things like, you know, those crazy guys that helped you out yesterday, they just didn't know what they were talking about. Even in a joking, jesting manner, because it does disparage your company, and that's not what you want to do. That would encourage somebody to speak poorly of you and your company, and that's certainly something that you don't want to do. Always remember to speak very clearly as well, to communicate competence whenever you're in a conversation with a customer, especially if that customer is having a bad time and a bad experience with the products or services that you provided. So always maintain your poise and self-control. Never raise your voice. Always respect the customer. Resist the temptation to fight back. And I always say fight your instincts, not your customer. And the bottom line is your customer is allowed to lose their temper a little bit within reason, but you are not. When it starts to become unreasonable, if you find that the customer is being abusive, if you find that the customer is cursing and being really angry and making it personal, then you have the right to fire that customer. You even have the right to hang up on a customer who's being abusive to you in some way. But don't do it from an angry place, because your anger will just put fuel on the fire and make a bad situation worse. One of the things that was introduced in the book Customer Service for Dummies was what they call a stoplight process. And with the stoplight process, I was really pleased to find this little graphic on the internet when I was creating this presentation. Think about every conversation that you have with a customer as either being a green light conversation, a yellow light conversation, or a red light conversation. A green light means that the situation is normal, that conversation is amiable and relaxed, it's high energy, it's positive, the customer's happy, you're having a good conversation with each other. A yellow light means that there's some warning signs. The customer is tense and starting to show signs of frustration. And by the way, that can happen from the very first moment that you talk to them, that you can sense that the customer is having a bad day or their anxiety levels are up higher than you would like to see them. So when that happens, you want to take special notice of that and adjust the conversation and adjust the tone of your voice to make sure that you're addressing the fact that this person is already stressed. And a red light moment means that you have to really stop everything and drop into your red light handling process that we'll talk about here in just a minute. Anytime your customer is upset, anytime your customer is having a really bad time and expressing a tremendous amount of anxiety, then you have to use critical skills to manage that situation. And here's how you do that when you handle red light moments. You switch into red light mode, which is a different way of treating your customer and having a conversation with your customer entirely. You let them vent a little bit if that's necessary. Then you make an empathetic and or apologetic response. You begin the active problem-solving process, and at the end of the process, then you complete the call professionally. We're going to talk about each one of these 5 steps in handling red light moments with clients so that you can have a process that you can use if that unfortunate time ever happens to you where you have a bad customer experience or something that wasn't your fault at all, but the customer's just having a really bad day and taking it out on you. So first step is switch into red light mode. Notice right away that the customer is anxious, the customer is stressed, the customer is angry, and determine right then it's time to change your tactics and step into this 5-step process. Do something tangible to facilitate the shift. That can be, sitting up straight in your chair. That can be glancing down at the piece of paper or the Post-it note that you have pasted to your monitor that talks about the red light process. That can be, I've had some people actually turn on a little light on their desk. In a customer service environment where I was at once, we had everybody had a red light on their desk, and they could just hit the little red light and it would go on. That way, not only that you recognize that you had an issue that you need to focus on, but the people around you recognized it too, and they weren't near as likely to speak loud or do something that would cause you, additional challenges on your call. So do something tangible to facilitate the shift, whatever that happens to be for you, to really notice that you're in red light mode. And just remember, as always, that it's really not about you, but it is your responsibility to manage the situation, even if the situation's not your fault, because sometimes, clients drive their cars into trees, or, they drop Coca-Cola on their keyboard, and it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to successfully manage the red light moment that you have. So the first thing you do is just let them vent. You encourage their complete expression by maybe asking questions like, is there anything else, or what else? Tell me more about that can be very helpful. You want to treat every interaction you have as if it's with your most important customer, and knowing that if you handle this call right, that you can turn this situation around and build even a stronger customer relationship. It may not be your responsibility, but it is your opportunity to fix the situation and to build an even stronger relationship with your client. And just know that good people express frustrations over the telephone to those they don't know. It's easier for them to do that. As most of you know, that I've been on a journey of personal growth now for 50 years. And one of the things I noticed several years ago was that I was at my worst whenever I was talking to customer service people over the telephone. It's kind of embarrassing to admit that, but that was one of the things that I needed to fix from about 5 or 6 years ago when I first noticed it. I noticed that whenever I picked up the phone and called somebody, that I got very frustrated with their voice processing systems, that sometimes might take me 10 or 15 minutes to get a real live person on the other end of the phone. And it seemed like 95% of the time that I called, the situation was far too complex for their voice processing system. So by the time that I'd hit 1, then hit 4, then hit 3, then hit 2, then hit 7, I was well into a higher state of anxiety by the time I got anybody else on the phone. And I found myself being a little bit rude or being a little bit discourteous to that person on the other end of the phone. And I'm normally not that way at all. But that was something that I had to fix with myself. When you get a hold of a customer that is having one of those red light, high anxiety moments, I encourage you to cut them a little bit slack in the same way that so many customer service people were kind to me and cut me some slack and helped me realize that that was an issue that I needed to address in my own personal growth about being nicer to customer service representatives. You'll be happy to know that, now I'm just the nicest person in the world whenever I call somebody on the phone, primarily because I feel like I owe it to every customer service person in the world to be really, really nice because of the years that I went through not being nice when I called people on the phone. So I encourage you to be nice to them as well. Whenever you call people, whenever you get experience with customer service moments when somebody's calling you and they're not in a very good mood, it really helps you learn the lesson of being nice when you're talking to other people too. So after you have let them vent, after you have encouraged their complete expression, then you make an empathetic response. Something like, I'm very sorry you're having this problem today. Or on behalf of our company, just let me say that we sincerely apologize for the problem that you're having. Knowing, by the way, that your tone of voice is everything here. If you just read that like you're reading from a script, on behalf of our company, just let me say that we're very sorry for the problem you're having today. And somebody knows that you're reading from a script instead of having a heartfelt response and a genuinely empathetic response or apologetic response, it's not going to help the situation. So you got to feel it. It's like singing a song. You know, you just singing the notes isn't enough. You have to sell the song. And saying the words isn't enough. You have to really feel it, and you have to mean it whenever you make that empathetic response. Here's another one. I'm really sorry, John. I can see why you feel that way. Or I see what you mean. Or even a simple yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. Or I'm sorry, ma'am, and I'm sorry, sir, can help out a tremendous amount, especially when your attitude is right. And once you know that they have caught your apology, and once you know that they're out of their high anxiety moments, which you want to make sure that you get them calmed down just a little bit before you start the next step, then you can move into an active problem-solving mode. You can get the information that you need by asking intelligent questions, and usually those questions will come from some sort of a checklist or a problem resolution list that you have. With larger companies, it's about completing a form or entering some information into a computer and creating a trouble ticket. It may be that you're able to attempt resolution on the phone right there, or even reach resolution, which is really good. And it may be that you need to put them on hold for a little bit and work with colleagues. But whenever you do, whatever you do, when you begin the active problem solving, asking questions, attempting resolutions, let's try this, let's try something else, always express appreciation for their patience, often and sincerely whenever you're having those conversations. Because this is the delicate part. This is where they come to trust you. This is where you begin to turn the relationship around through patience, through sincerity, through genuine empathy, through genuine apologies, and genuine kindness whenever somebody's having a problem. And once you complete the active problem-solving process, then you can complete the call professionally. And even if the problem is not resolved, you want to set their expectations carefully and appropriately for the next step in the process. Either we'll get back to you tomorrow or the next day, or for a resolution in the process itself, and when to set their expectations about when you may be able to get those fixed. Sometimes, by the way, the right thing to say is, sir or ma'am, I really don't know when we're going to be able to address this. We're not sure what the issue is yet. It could be a very simple issue that we're going to be able to fix in the next 5 or 10 minutes, or it might be a more complex issue that requires a service call or some deep work on our end. But we will let you know just as soon as we understand what the problem is in its detail, and we're able to give you a resolution and a time frame for reaching that resolution. That can be, by the way, the most appropriate response for you. The biggest thing here is when you complete the call is to take responsibility for it as appropriate and make it right. Again, it might be their problem. They might have been the person that drove their car into a tree or dumped that bucket of soft drink on their keyboard, but it's your opportunity to manage it and to make it right as you can with your customer service. Always conclude the call by apologizing again, wishing them well whenever you exit the call. And if it's been an especially tough call, and I've had calls that went on, you know, for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes with somebody on the other end of the phone being especially upset about something, which usually was not my fault, but upset about something, then it's important is to focus on a little self-care. So a little self-care means taking a break, taking a breath, getting up, walking around, listening to your favorite music, you know, shifting your energy a little bit through whatever process that you have to shift your own energy. But focus on a little self-care so you can get back into being your charming, cheerful self to handle that next call that comes in with the expectation that that next call is going to be a good one. So those are the 5 steps of the handling red light moment process. First, we switch into red light mode. Then we let them vent and make an empathetic or apologetic response and continue rotating or in between steps 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 until you see that they've calmed down a little bit. And then you can begin the active problem-solving process with requesting more information and suggesting things that they might try to have a resolution for the call, and then complete the call professionally. You know, we've all had experiences with customer service, some of them not very good and some of them very, very good. I want to give you a couple examples today of an opportunity I had with my internet provider a couple of weeks ago, and then I want to talk to you about some really great customer service I've had recently from my hosting provider. So I've invited Stephanie on our team to play the role of myself, who's going to call into the internet provider, and I'm going to play the role of the internet provider's customer service representative that I had the pleasure and perhaps not so much the pleasure of talking to. So Stephanie's going to pretend that we're going to do a little role playing here, and she's going to call me up, and I'm going to be the communications service provider that I talked to a couple of weeks ago when my internet went out at about 11:15 when I was preparing for an office hours presentation, which we had to cancel because my internet went out. So Stephanie, give me a call.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello, this is your internet communication provider. How are you today?
I'm sorry, hello? Who's this?
Hello, this is the communications provider. How are you today?
I'm having a hard time understanding you, but I will tell you that my internet is out, and I've got a very important business call in about 40 minutes, so I'm a little bit worried here.
Well, I'm very sorry your internet is out today. You can go online and see if there's any outages in your area.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. Could you please repeat that?
Go online to see if there's any outages in your area.
Okay, but I can't go online. I can't get online. I have no internet.
Oh, of course. Oh, that makes perfect sense. I can't do that. That's so funny. Okay. Now I think have you reset your modem? First of all, is your cable working? Is your phone service working?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Could you please repeat that?
Is your TV working? TV okay?
Yeah, the TV is working okay.
And the telephone, is the telephone working okay?
Yes, the telephone's working fine. Just the internet. My internet is out.
Okay, now I get it. I get your internet out. Okay. Have you reset the modem?
Have I done what with the modem?
Have you reset your modem?
Oh, got it. Yes, I have. I've done that several times, and I've rebooted my computer several times.
Okay.
Still no internet.
Oh, okay. Do you have another telephone number I can call you back on, because I'm gonna have to reset your modem, and that sometimes will take care of the problem.
I'm sorry, you're talking way too fast. I didn't get that. What did you say?
Do you have another telephone I can call you back on? Because
yeah, sure,
okay.
Got it. It's 555-1212.
Okay, great. I'm gonna reset your modem, then I call you right back. So bye.
Okay.
Ring, 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 ring.
Yeah. Hello to Stephanie.
Hello, this is your communication service provider. Did it work? Do you like internet back up?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Hello?
Is your internet working now?
Oh, hi. No, the internet's still not working. No internet.
Okay, well, you guys schedule it, customer service. You're gonna have to come out and fix it because I can't help you anymore. It's just I can't help you.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't understand that. One more time?
We'll schedule a service call. Man can be there tomorrow between noon and 8 p.m. You have to stand by the whole day.
So that's it. That's all you got? The 8-hour time frame. That's it.
That's the only thing we can do is, yeah, the person will be there. You
Okay.
have to be there the whole day. That be okay with you?
I guess so.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
And pardon me for all of my Indian friends out there for trying a really bad Indian and Eastern European accent there. The point is not that that they were Indian or Eastern European, which because my accents are terrible. The point is that sometimes when people speak with a very thick English accent, that good folks like me can't understand them. You know, I was born and raised in Kansas. I was like 30 years old before I heard anything other than an Oklahoma or a Texas accent. Every time, sometimes those folks from Oklahoma or Texas would show up, and we sure thought that they talked funny too. At least we could understand them. Today, when somebody has a really thick accent from a foreign country, it is really hard for me to understand them. We're going to role play that call again here. And this time, I'm going to role play the call the way that I think the call should have been handled, and the way I would have really appreciated the call to have been handled whenever I called them. So Stephanie, give me a ring.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello, this is your internet communications provider. How can I help you today?
Hi, hi. Well, I've got a very important business call in about 40 minutes, and my internet just went out, and so I'm a little worried. No internet.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. I really hate it when the internet goes out for me as well. So let me ask you some questions here. I can see by your account that you have our cable TV, our internet service, and our phone service. Is the cable TV working?
Yes, yep,
Great.
that's good.
And how about the telephone? Are we talking on our telephone line, or are we talking on a different phone?
Correct. We're talking on the phone line. Correct.
So our phone line works and the cable TV works. That means we have good, solid connectivity. So it's just the internet that's out. That's correct?
Correct.
Great. Okay. Well, first of all, again, I'm really sorry for the problem. Have you tried resetting your modem, ma'am?
Yes, I've rebooted that in my system twice.
And it didn't work. Well, sometimes when we reset the modem from our end, it resets a little bit more of the system than when you're able to reset it manually on your end. So I'd like to try that again. And am I talking to you on the phone line that we're providing?
Correct.
Okay, so when I reset the modem, it's going to drop the call. And is there a telephone number that you have, perhaps a cell phone or an alternate phone number that I can use to give you a call back?
Sure. It's 555-1212.
Great. I'll reset the modem on my end now, and that's going to drop the call, and I'll call you right back.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hi, this is Stephanie.
Hi, this is Paul with your communications company. We reset the modem on your side. Did that fix the internet problem?
Nope, unfortunately it did not.
I am so sorry. And I think we've done everything that I can do here, so we're going to have to schedule a service call. And I see by my appointment calendar that the first time that one can get out is between noon and 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Will that work for you?
Yes, if that's the earliest you've got, I'll take it.
It is. I wish I were able to get somebody out there right now this second, but we are booked up until noon tomorrow. So will you be there between noon and 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, great.
Okay, great. Well, I've scheduled a service call. We'll definitely be out there between noon and 2 o'clock. We'll give you a call in advance of that. Usually you get a call an hour or two in advance just to remind you of the scheduled appointment.
Okay.
And again, I'm very sorry that you've had this problem with your internet. I'm confident that our service technician will be able to resolve the problem for you tomorrow.
Well, thanks so much for your help. I really appreciate it.
You are very welcome. And again, I apologize for the problem, and I wish you have a very nice day. Thank you for calling.
You too. Bye-bye.
I hope you notice the difference in between those two calls, because there's a way to properly handle customer service issues, and there's a way not to handle them. So to speak very clearly and very competently and very compassionately with your clients is really, really, really important. I didn't tell you on purpose the name of my internet provider. If you want to send me an email, I'd be happy to share who that is. But my goodness, the service is just terrible. By the way, in that particular situation, as it turned out, when the service technician came out the next day, we found out that that communication company had actually shut off my internet. They shut it off back at some pole and didn't tell anybody. So nobody that I talked to. That afternoon, I took my cable modem down to the local shop and replaced it, came back and hooked it back up, and it still didn't work. And the reason is because that company had actually shut down my internet and hadn't told anybody. And they said there was some leakage in the lines in my house, and they needed to shut it down so that somebody else's internet would be able to work effectively. It's tough for me to imagine a worse customer service situation than a company shutting down your service and not telling anybody else at the company that they shut down the service. They just kind of red tagged the line so that when the technician got there the next day, he was able to tell what the problem was and was able to fix it, in a matter of an hour and a half or so. But he was quite embarrassed that his fellow service technician had not told anybody else what the heck was going on. Anyway, I do just want to share that there are some companies out there that have really great customer service. I'm happy with my internet hosting provider named GoDaddy. GoDaddy, I've used them for a number of years. I host almost all of my websites with them. I have dozens and dozens of domain names that I purchased from them, and every single time I call them, I'm impressed with their customer service. I just know that the person I'm talking to is smiling on the other end of the phone. I know that they care about me. They're always offering, if there's anything else they can do for me, and they just have excellent in customer service. So I will, in the same way that I will not disparage my communications provider by telling you what their name is, I will suggest to you that my hosting provider, GoDaddy, gives excellent customer service, and I've been pleased literally every time that I've called them. I've called them hundreds of times. So here's the bottom line. Customer service will make or break your company. You don't want people talking about you in the way that I would talk about my internet communications provider. You want people talking about you the way that I talk about GoDaddy, because your customers and your reputation are precious. I really encourage you to treat your customers as professionally as you would like to be treated, because I know each and every one of you are calling customer service, and you know when somebody's treating you right. Well, just emulate that. Emulate their attitudes, emulate what they say, practice these red light, stoplight processing process that we have for you, and treat other people the way that you'd like to be treated. Have that process, practice the process, and when somebody's having a problem, just do what's right and do everything you can to make it right with a sincerely apologetic and empathetic and compassionate and kind attitude. But the best advice I could ever give you when it comes to customer service is never have those moments. As much as possible, avoid problems by providing excellent products and services every single day. That's been our agenda for today. We talked about the fundamentals in customer service and fundamentals in handling red light moments. We talked about the stoplight process and the importance of your attitude. We gave you a 5-step process for handling those red light moments and had a little fun with some examples of good customer service and not so good customer service, and wrapped it all up for the bottom line. Your homework is to, if you have any issues about customer service, be sure to get Customer Service for Dummies and read it. My good friend Karen Leland wrote the book, and I was delighted to have actually met her and told her how much the book meant to me in 1999, so I read it 15 years ago. Develop a process that works for your company or just for yourself. Role play with the employees. If you've got employees that are handling customer service issues, make sure that they know what your approved process is for handling moments, and especially tough moments. And as always, get coaching and support to accelerate your growth and your progress. We're going to have open questions and answers in just a moment, where we invite you to have comments and questions on the topics of the day and then any other issues. Go to the Brilliant Business Group on Facebook and share what your biggest takeaways are and the insights that you gained from this presentation, and let me know what you're going to focus on. As you know, my distinctions are that as a business consultant, I really don't want a lot of your money. I want you to spend an appropriate amount of money on consulting, education, training, and consulting, but I want you to get the support that you want that you really need, that you can use, and you can afford it. If you don't want it, you don't need it, you're not going to be able to use it, and you can't afford it, I'm not going to sell it to you. I just want to make sure that you get the support that you really need to move your business forward. I want you to learn to swim before you jump into the deep end. And for many of you who are in business, you may think, wow, I'm already in the deep end. Well, believe me, as your business grows, the deep end gets deeper. So if you find yourself that you don't have the right training and support and education, now's the time to get it before you swim into even the deeper end. You know that I believe that belief and persistence are necessary, but they're not sufficient for you to be successful in your business. You really do need to have a viable business model, and you need to get a lot of support along the way. And that's why we here at Hoyt Management Group provide a lot of different support services: education, training, consulting, and coaching, and our new service is called Growth Management Service, which is really a do-it-with-you service. And here's what I mean by that. Whenever you go to somebody, you can get training from them, which is a do-it-yourself service, where they teach you how to do something, or they can actually hold your hands and do it with you, or in some cases do it for you. We provide education, training, and coaching services that help you do the job for yourself. We also provide advising and mentoring services where we do it, not only teach you how to do it, but also do it with you. And when we do it with you, that's where helping you make decisions. We're helping you take the steps that are really going to be important for you to move your business forward. When we do consulting, it's almost always a do-it-with-you service. We offer co-authored business plans and co-authored or co-created financial models and a lot of different things where we are working hand in hand with you in an iterative process. You fill out a questionnaire, we edit it and send it back to you, and it's a real refining, editing, polishing process until we work together to get the thing done the way that it really needs to be done. And the same thing is true with our growth management services. We work with you to manage the projects that you have at your business, to be in the role of project manager or project coordinator, and some of the things that we do on our own and do it for you, and a lot of the things that we do with you in that process. So I hope that clarifies it just a little bit, because we've got a lot of different products and services that we might employ to help you move your business forward. I encourage you to sign up for our Business Growth Acceleration Kit. You can go to paulhoyt.com/CEO bonus and get a free program that I created called The 5 Choices of Winning CEOs, an article on the 10 things that you should know about raising capital and some samples of my inspirational work, and a free half-hour business clarity session as well. And there's always some surprise bonuses with our Business Growth Acceleration Kit. So if you haven't done it already, go to paulhoyt.com/CEO bonus and sign up for that free program, because I really do believe that the value of that is enormous. And again, if you haven't done so already, purchase my Beyond Business Survival CEO training program. It really is what you need to know when you're the CEO. And one of the frequent attendees of our office hours presentations is a gentleman named Nick Catricala. I don't know if he's on the call today or not. Not quite today, but he says that the program is worth 20 times what the current price is. And he finally understands what he needs to do to succeed in his business. And that's coming from a guy who had been an entrepreneur for 30 years before he got the education and training. Don't let 30 years go by. Don't let 5 years go by. Don't let another year go by, or even another month go by, until you get the education that you need to avoid the mistakes that will slow you down and shut you down. And we talk a lot about those best practices in business and successful or business success principles in the Beyond Business Survival CEO training program, so you can take your business beyond survival and into thriving and accelerating your growth. Our next office hours will be next week, November the 10th. I haven't decided on a topic yet. So if you'd like to share some suggestions, please go to paulsurvey.com or just give me a call and do your homework in between now and then. We're going to open up for questions and answers today. First, comments and questions on the topic of the day, and then any other issues that you might have. As always, put your takeaways and insights on the Brilliant Business Group Facebook page. And give me a ring or a call or an email so that we can create an office hours presentation that's just right for you and perfect for what you need to have in your business. So with that, Stephanie, thanks so much for doing that role play with me today. I really do appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. I hope that you did too. And I'm going to open it up for any questions that you might have.
Got it. I had fun too. The first question, have you ever had to fire a customer?
I have had to fire a customer. In my particular case, it's not because the customers were abusive, in terms of being angry, because I've got a very calm and kind demeanor. So I'm able to calm people down pretty quickly just because they know that I do care about them, and I know that they're going through a tough moment, and that they're probably the nicest person in the world from time to time, and they're just going through a tough moment. So I really don't ever have to let a client go for those reasons. But every once in a while, someone isn't paying their bill, or they're especially high maintenance in that they have lots of emails and lots of phone calls and take up a tremendous amount of time to where it's just not economically viable for me to continue supporting them. Or in some kinds, I'm just not the right person for them. And that's what I tell them basically. Whenever I have to terminate a relationship, I always take responsibility for that. And I always say something like, hey, I'm really sorry. I've really done my best in this particular situation, but I don't think that I'm the right person to support you going forward. I just don't see a way that we can continue with this relationship. I hope you know that I've tried, and I hope you know that I care about you. But I'm going to suggest that you find another coach or another consultant who you're going to be a little bit happier with, and who's going to be able to support you and help you in the ways that I have not been able to despite my very best efforts. Is that okay with you? And usually when you phrase it like that, like, hey, it's my problem, I did the best I could, I'm sorry I wasn't able to support you in the way that you wanted to be supported or in the way that I really wanted to support you, and I really encourage you to go, and I might even give them a suggestion of somebody that they might want to give a call to see if they're the right person to help support them in their business. But that's the way that I do it, and I've had to do that three times, mostly when somebody was not paying their bills, when somebody got over their credit limit, and it was just not comfortable for me to continue providing products or services to them anymore, and it was time for them to move on. And by the way, that doesn't mean that they weren't supposed to pay me. It just meant that I wasn't going to provide any additional services until they got right with their bill. So next question, Stephanie.
Well, you may have answered this, but I was going to ask, how do you fire a customer?
Yeah, that was it. I think the way that you fire a customer is by taking responsibility for being in integrity, for being authentic, for being honest, and for being humble. I tell you that becoming a humble person was one of the most challenging lessons of my lifetime. I remember vividly 5 years ago when I finally learned that lesson. Just to be a humble person and know that you're not all things to all people, that you can't help everybody, even if you want to help everybody, is a very, very wise thing to learn. So I think that's probably the first thing, is to be confident. Having a balance of confidence and humility is one of the things which has really helped me lead a very happy and positive life for the last several years. Next step.
Well, this is a good one because this affects me too. Sometimes those kind of calls are pretty stressful. So how do you de-stress? How do you let go of that after a tough call?
Well, I'm in a pretty good place in my own life to where I can de-stress pretty easily. My baseline anxiety is very low. If I get upset, it's usually only for a few seconds or for a few minutes. And usually just by walking around a little bit, maybe putting on a little music, taking a big breath. Breath management can be a big part of that. But I always say that there's 1,000 ways to shift your energy. I encourage you to do something physical, just getting up and stretching and relaxing, adjusting your posture, focusing on your breath, whatever. It can be really, really helpful. having a glass of water, having a little, something to eat, a few M&Ms, a little bit of chocolate can work wonders with me. Perhaps it will with you as well. Listening to some really good music can help shift the help shift the energy very, very quickly. In my books around the practice of awakening, that's one of my biggest points that I want to communicate to other people, is that there are literally 1,000 things that you can do to shift your energy. Have your music playlist. Have your favorite exercises. Do a little yoga, do a little tapping, do a little stretching, do a little dancing. Take a quick walk if you can afford the time to do that. There's lots and lots of ways for you to shift energy. What works for me may not work for you. If you're a dancer, you may need to dance. If you're a singer, you may need to sing. So whatever works for you is the right thing to do for you to shift your energy. Next question, Stephanie.
Who provides the best service?
Well, as I mentioned before, I'm really impressed with GoDaddy's service. I've literally called them 100 times over the last 4 or 5 or 10 years. I bet I'm on the, maybe it's a lot more than that. I bet I'm on the phone to them once every week or two with a question that, and it's not like they're having a lot of problems. It's like I got questions about how things are working and what I can do, and issues that they're always very, very helpful with. So I want to definitely say that their service has been fantastic. They had a bad rap, by the way, of not being a good place to host your domains and host your websites, but I think that's all past now. My experience is that with their new cPanel stuff, that they are a very good hosting provider as well. And I did give an office hours presentation 2 or 3 weeks ago on Zappos. The name of it was Delivering Happiness. So if you're into this conversation about delivering great customer service, there are a couple of office hours that I would encourage you to take a look at. One of them was Delivering Happiness, which was the Zappos story. Delivering Happiness is the name of the book written by Tony Hsieh, the CEO of Zappos, that documents and chronicles the rise of Zappos, which is really a great book. And a few office hours before that, I did one on gamification, which is about creating an environment that really engages your customer and encourages them to have increased customer loyalty through the application of gamification principles in your business. So to me, the top 2 at the top of my list right now would be Zappos and GoDaddy. Fortunately, there are lots and lots of businesses out there that provide excellent customer service that you can learn from, that can be role models to you. And my wish for each and every one of you is that you turn out to be one of those companies as well. Some company that people don't mind calling or really love to call because they know whenever they do that they're going to have a wonderful customer experience whenever they give you a call, no matter what the problem is. Next, Stephanie.
It looks like that's it.
Well, if that's all of the questions that we have or comments on today's call, I don't know if there's a couple of other ones there or not in the question window. Probably not. Well, here's something from Nick that I'm seeing. And did you see that one? Do you see that one, Stephanie, in the question window?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I missed this one. He asks, he was on the phone with a company who provides propane for his home. They keep increasing the monthly pre-authorized payments, and when he complains, they threaten to pull his service. So how would you do that? How would you handle that?
The way I would handle it would be different whether or not I had an alternative. So if you've got an alternative, you may just quietly decide to go somewhere else and see what the alternative is. It may be talking to your neighbors and other people who are using that same service and see if they've got any suggestions to you. Sometimes there are special plans that are available that you have to ask for, but are not necessarily volunteered for you. I would see if you have any alternatives and see if any of your neighbors are having similar problems and whether or not they've been able to resolve the problems to their satisfaction. And I always ask to speak to the manager. If I'm not getting the support that I would like to get from the person on the phone, I ask to speak to their manager. And sometimes I ask to speak to the manager's manager, and I've even gone as far as the Vice President of Customer Service, from some fairly large companies, if I feel like they're just not treating me right and not giving me the alternatives that I need to. I generally am not a person that threatens to take nasty actions via Yelp or through social media of some kind. That's kind of an action of last resort or a response of last resort. I guess maybe the last resort would be calling up the local TV station, the one that does all this investigative reporting and will come out and talk to disgruntled people about the poor service that they're getting and see if they can't make it right for you too. So there's lots of ways that you can escalate the problem if you can't find an alternative in some particular way. And if it's the right thing to do for you, go to the Vice President of Customer Service. Go to the local TV station and ask to speak to their investigative reporters, or the local newspaper, because journalists out there love to find ways that they can support people. It's good news. It's a good story for them to say that Nick was having a problem and we were able to help Nick resolve that problem. So if you haven't turned to those avenues, maybe that's the right thing for you, Nick. And when you do it, by the way, do it. I encourage you not to do it out of anger, and I know you well enough to know that you wouldn't. Even if your journalist or your investigative reporter says things like, "Boy, I bet that really makes you angry. Man, that really pisses you off." You can get pretty serious about it, but I encourage you not to get angry about that, and I know that you won't. Any other questions out there, Stephanie?
Nope, sir. That's it.
Okay, well, I thank you for attending this call on customer service, on excellence in customer service and managing very tough problems so that you can successfully turn those bad customer moments into lifelong customer relationships, because you get an opportunity to demonstrate that you really do care, that you really are compassionate, that you really value their service, and that you really do want them to be happy. You can do that by turning it around, by seeing the opportunity in every problem that you have, every challenge that you have, and taking advantage of the opportunity that you have to demonstrate excellence in customer service and compassion when it comes to your customers and clients. You also, by the way, have an opportunity to shift your energy each and every day. And so until we meet again, this is Paul Hoyt wishing each of you a most marvelous and prosperous day. Bye-bye.